Jarrad Branthwaite obviously has been heavily linked with Manchester United. We've had varying reports. I think the latest one was that terms were agreed between the player and the Manchester United. There was then these reports that United had put in a bid, I think, of 35 million quid that was just rejected straight away. I think United, at the time recording this, are going to go back in with another offer, or in the process of going back in with another offer. The issue I've got with Branthwaite is I haven't seen a lot of him, and the only games I've really seen him in is when it's a big game, if it's against United or it's against City or it's against Liverpool. It's one of the games that's on the telly. Yeah. So it's very difficult for me to make a sort of measured or insightful analysis of him. You watch him week in, week out. You're a massive Evertonian, obviously. Just on first things first, when you heard that United were in for him, what was your initial thoughts on that?
Initially, I was like, he can do better.
Okay.
So you look at where United are right now, I think he's in the position where he can pick his next move. He can go Madrid, Bayern, all these top teams, left-sided, 6'4". Again, really good on the ball. Does he do it at Everton as much? No, but he can do it, and he's shown he can do it. So first thing is like classic, like United are in for him, of course. I think at first I was like, United are in for everyone. Anyone who's done any good thing in football gets linked with United. And I knew things like was coming with PSR. We're kind of struggling with, the 2 points deductions one season. We've got to make sales. We've got to be profitable. We've got to be sustainable. So I knew people would be coming for him. People coming from Amadou Onana, who I'd be happier selling Onana than Branthwaite. So I was like, it's going to happen, but it's nice to have a player that people are after, because we've not had that for years, maybe since Richarlison, maybe. So yeah, initially I was a bit worried, but when it was United, I thought...
You say like he could have gone Madrid, but like Bayern Munich have got a lot of centre-backs, haven't they?
Yeah.
Real Madrid are pretty set on their centre-back, and I think even if United are finishing 8th, we're still one of the biggest clubs in Europe.
I would
we're still
say
a
that,
huge club.
When I watch him, he's a Man United centre-back.
Right, okay.
I think. Man United right now, don't know, because what is Man United right now? But the Man United that I know growing up, and obviously you've known for years, he fits a lot of them. Like, if you signed him, for example, I see him being there he could be there for 10 years, for example.
Yeah,
he could be a captain. So what I see of him, and I watch him every week, he's ridiculous. He is ridiculous.
What are his best attributes then? Because obviously we know his age. He's already got a lot of experience for a 21-year-old. You mentioned earlier off camera, he's been on loan to PSV. I think he won a cup there. You said he was at Carlisle. He started out.
Yeah, Carlisle.
And then
Carlisle. We bought him. Then went on loan to Blackburn. Got a bit of that.
So he's got a lot of experience for a 21-year-old. Been in and around the England squad. Very unlucky, in my opinion, not to make the final squad for the Euros. What type of player is he in terms of when you're watching him?
I think the best thing about him is his composure in the defensive situation. So, like, you're an Everton player, you're going to be defending a lot. And I think it's how he deals with them moments that... I've been watching Michael Keane and Mason Holgate for years, and that's not fun. Because they panic and they get agitated, but he seems to deal with these situations with just an ease. And then he's tall, his legs seem to last forever, so he can just go in and somehow whip the ball back. And it's that composure that I find amazing in them situations.
Yeah. What do you make of his personality? Do you think he could be the type of player that may force a move if the money isn't right between the two clubs?
So I don't think he would. From what I've heard, obviously I'm not in the know, but he's not one of them who's... You could try and find an interview with him. There might be one or two out there from his old time. He doesn't speak a lot. He just gets his head down. And that's why I think if he does go to Man United, it's because the club are going, right, we need to take that offer. We can't deny it. Whereas he's not. He signed a 5-year deal early in the season. So we're quite in a good position. A lot of Everton fans, including myself, would rather take 3-point deduction if that's what it meant to keep him. That's how good he is to us.
I think he's worth more.
We think he's worth... He'll earn us more than 3 points.
I was going to say, 3 points is losing one game. If you're going to lose 6 games because he's not there.
Exactly, yeah. And so what I see with him as well, like... I watched a lot of John Stones when he was at Everton. Thought he was great. I think Branthwaite now is better than he was when we sold him. Like, I'll say that happily. Because John Stones was class as well. But I think the way that Branthwaite goes about it is there's some kind of... It almost looks easy for him. And he loves defending. Like, being next to Tarkowski helps, but he loves it. Like, getting down, tackling, in the air. His heading's amazing. So, I think he's got all the attributes that... If you have had him next to Martinez... Ridiculous.
Is it? What's this I see? Because he's a left-sided centre-back, but there was reports that one of his old coaches, or you will know better than I am, saying he's actually naturally right-footed. He uses his left more because he finds it easy to use both feet.
Yeah, I don't know. He used to play midfield.
Right.
So up until he was 16, he was a midfielder, and then he got pushed back for that kind of story. One game he got pushed back and then
smashed it.
Yeah, smashed it. And you can see that in how he plays. So he uses his left a lot, but I wouldn't say he's really one-footed.
Okay.
That's why I think he's got a lot of value, and it comes down to United fans will say, "Oh, he's not worth X or Y, Z." Well, that's fine, but it's, to me, watching a player like that at 21, English, we got him for £1 million from Carlisle, and he's kept second most clean sheets in the league after Gabriel and Saliba with Tarkowski. That for us is ridiculous because we won't be able to replace him for.
No.
Even with 20 million, we won't be able to replace him because he's just fantastic. And I don't get passionate about a lot of Everton players because it's hard because some of them are crap. But he's just done something this year that's got everyone on board with him.
How would you feel about, we were talking about this the other day and they don't happen very often, but swap deals? Is it obviously United also need to get rid of a load of players in the books, as the likes of Maguire and Lindelof that we might be looking to ship?
So first, I wouldn't want any of it, but for the purpose of the conversation, right back's an area of concern for us. Nathan Patterson's just done a really bad injury. Coleman signed an extension, but you're not going to get years out of him, and then it's Ashley Young. I feel like Wan-Bissaka's got Everton all over him.
I love Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, I think that imagine him with Daesh, loves a tackle, keeps it simple, all that stuff. Beautiful. So there's that. I also
adopted son money.
I also think Maguire would be great for Everton in a low block kind of.
He's had some good games at Goodison Park.
Yeah, Maguire always seems to turn up against us. So I think the problem with that though is that we need money in the books. That's the problem for the profit stint. But that's why we're trying to offload an Arna to Arsenal or someone, because he's a great player, by the way. Just doesn't really work at Everton. He wants to receive the ball, turn.
He's quite a popular figure amongst United fans on Arna. I've seen a lot of United fans online.
Yeah, Ronaldo likes him.
Yeah, another one when you watch him. I don't watch a lot of Everton, when I watch, you always think he's good. He stands out. He's decent.
He has got that. I think my problem is, and it sounds like a proper old Everton Dar kind of saying, but he plays like he's imagining him in a compilation sometimes. You can just know he's playing for the montage, and he's going to have a great career. He just won't be at Everton, and I'll be able to go, if he goes Arsenal, Bayern Munich, whatever. There are a few Barcelona apparently after him with all the money they have. I'll happily he will go and have a great career. I just can't see it at Everton because he's one of them. Is what does he do? And he does a lot. He plays really well, and he has some good compilations already, but I think he needs to go to a bigger club to really express himself, because receiving off the keeper at Everton is just not going to happen for a few years, is it?
Just one final one, Dempsey. Jarrad Branthwaite, what would it take for you money-wise? What's the deal where you go, do you know what? Makes sense.
I think in our position, I'd want some at 70 to 80.
Right, okay.
But I could see something being a 65 with something on top.
65 with add-ons.
With something on top. Being realistic, it depends what stance we take. If we have to, that's what I can see what happen. But I think if we try and push an Arna out first, that'll be what we need for.
I think as well, sometimes with things like this, from the selling club's point of view, you want a couple of clubs in there, don't you? You want a bidding war to start. And I don't know if anyone else is in for it.
It's annoying that City have got Vardy and they've spent a lot on centre-back. Same Bayern,
Cucurella when he went from Brighton, it was City and Chelsea wanted him. And then City pulled out, but Chelsea were we'll keep going.
I think the argument from Everton has always been Anthony, Maguire, Mount for 60 million.
Well, this is what Ineos is trying to, and this is a big deal for Ineos now, because this is them saying we're going to do things differently. Now I rate Branthwaite, and I know he's completely different from Anthony, but if they go in and go, right, we're going to pay 75 million quid for a kid who's one England cap, never played in the Champions League or whatever, or unless he's certainly not recently. It kind of feels like the old way of doing business.
And you set a precedent for the rest of the signings.
So it'll be interesting to see who blinks first. Thanks for that, Dempsey. I really enjoyed it. Get involved in the chat in the comments.